Okay. Well, first things first, welcome and thank you for being here. It's the first time that we do these PDGA talks here at Worlds. We feel that it's important to make use of the gathering of so many countries here, have not only competition but also everything surrounding disc golf. This broadcast is going to be filmed and we will post it on YouTube channel on PDGA and in next weeks so that everyone can benefit from that. We have the title of the talks is Disc Golf Media, Present, Future, Different Models, Live versus Post-Production, European Way versus American Way, if such a thing exists. So I would like to first leave 2-3 minutes for each speaker to explain who he is and what's his role on Disc Golf Media. Let's start, for example, with Sam.
Hey guys, my name is Sam Gades. I work for the Disc Golf Network. I started working for the Disc Golf Network in 2020. Previously, I've had experience working in live media in different capacities back in the United States. I started my career working in local news coverage as a camera operator and a photojournalist. I then got a job working for NBC Sports in Boston, one of their regional sports networks, covering professional sports. I've been very lucky enough to have some experience covering some of the biggest sport events in the United States, including Super Bowl. I've covered Stanley Cup finals, and as well as NBA and MLB playoffs as well. So, yeah, it's really great to be here, and I'm super excited and honored that you guys asked me to be here and share my experience. And I'm really looking forward to the discussion that we're going to have today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Next with us is Juha Kytö, DGN Europe.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the invite to be here. Juha Kytö, working for DGPT Europe, the European branch, and Disc Golf Network is my main work, but also the administration work on the European side as well. My history on media, I started doing media when I was about 8 years old, borrowed a video camera from the library and filmed some really funny sketches and been doing that since then, so it's a long time working in the media. A few years ago, we started to do disc golf media post-production. First, of course, inspired by Jonathan, who's also remotely here, and we started to work towards live broadcasts, like from the start. Like everything we did was focused on that someday we will do live broadcasting, and 2021 we started Disc Golf streaming service similar to Disc Golf Network, and worked a couple of years on that, and then we merged together with DGPT and Disc Golf Network, and yeah, that's a short history.
I remember those rounds filming as a live camera for Disc Golf Stream in Mijas, going up and down and up and down. Lauri, sorry, I'm not brave enough to correctly spell your sign name.
Yeah, it's
Frisbeegolfmedia.
So my name is Lauri Alasaukko-oja, and thanks for the invite. I'm from Frisbeegolfmedia, and I'm pretty honored to be in this table with these super experienced professionals. My media background is not that long. I haven't started when I was 8 years old making videos, but we started two and a half years ago with Frisbeegolfmedia, and everything has gone through like super fast. So what we kind of figured out that in Finland especially, there wasn't, like, disc golf has grown a lot and has become one of the biggest sports of the country, and we kind of decided that, okay, Finland is lacking actual disc golf media or Frisbeegolf media, and nobody wasn't writing anything about disc golf. And for that reason also the general public wasn't writing anything about disc golf. And that's one of the reasons why we started. and we started writing news articles, and yeah, it grew instantly super fast with the help of the community, and we I think we have already kind of achieved what we were going after, is that we get the general media and the public media of Finland and the other countries close by also write about disc golf. So that's kind of what we did. We wrote the articles and we sent them to the general public.
Okay, fourth position for Kimmo Turunen from Pulsea. Kimmo, you are also very involved in various aspects of disc golf.
Yes, thank you, Calixto, for the invite, and hello everyone. My name is Kimmo Turunen, and I represent Pulsea Disc Golf Academy. So our parent company Rockway in Finland has been producing different kinds of live broadcasts, different kinds of online content, and all kinds of educational stuff for 16 years already. So our mother company is a little bit of like on a wider spectrum of different kinds of media aspects. And for myself, I started working for Rockway 4 years ago, producing the Pulsea Disc Golf Academy, which is the biggest platform for learning disc golf online. And at that time, we had a good idea that maybe we should take also some live broadcasts to our kind of buffet and try our legs on that as well. And we did the Masters Tour in 2022 and ended up doing the Finnish Nationals 2022 as well, live on our own TV channel, which was operational at the time. Later we sold that away because we saw that it's not good to like dip in too many ponds. So we concentrated on producing live disc golf for Disc Golf Network for 2 years, doing the Euro Tour in 2023 and then continuing up until the year 2024. And my background is basically I used to be a musician, a professional musician, been performing for the whole of my life, basically on different arenas, and I after COVID had this opportunity to jump into my very beloved sport of disc golf. So I've been playing disc golf for close to 20 years. So I'm so happy to be here, and this World Championship is the year that we're going to be producing exactly what Lauri said, that we are trying to serve the media and give them a great platform to be able to encounter the players right after the round. So happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have remotely one, I would say, a legend of disc golf communication, Jonathan Gomez. He has not been able to reach Tampere, but he's here on the distance. I was telling him that I remember some years ago when I was starting my personal project in Spain, a small project, and I wrote him an email and he answered. And he said, yeah, let's have a video chat. And he explained me, okay, go ahead. If you have a DSLR, use it. It doesn't really matter. What important is that you grow, and it's a honor to have him here now with you. Jonathan, you don't really need too much introduction, but tell us who you are and what does JomezPro do.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking me to join. I'm sorry that I can't be with you all there, but good morning to you all. And yeah, I started the Jomez channel way back in 2012 at the World Championships, and just slowly kept filming disc golf on YouTube because it was something that I didn't think at the time there was enough of. And it was just my goal became to try to create more content that someone like myself would like to see, someone that if they weren't playing disc golf and they wanted to watch disc golf. And so yeah, just year after year through 13, 14, 15, and then 16 we got our next World Championships, and that was a big break of ours. We worked really closely with UC Maresma, and he gave us some really big opportunities and got into 2017. And myself and a couple of my friends, Michael, and Jerry, we put our jobs, hit the road, got an RV, And once we went full time, it made all the difference. And ever since then, it's just been continued to grow. That's basically what led us to joining forces with the Pro Tour in 2023. Really solid decision for us across the board, just to kind of maximize efficiency and combine camera crews and with the live and post-production. I work really closely with Sam, who's also here on the panel. And it's just been an amazing ride, and it's just one of those things where the very next year that we continue to keep doing this, I just feel very fortunate to be in this position and to have just such an amazing team and a community that loves to watch and play disc golf, and the amount of people that work for the PDGA and the Pro Tour and all these other media companies here with us today, just all have that passion to continue to push the envelope and want to continue pushing that vision for growing disc golf and showing disc golf to more people in the best way possible. So very glad to be here, joining out today. Wish I could be there in person, but I'm very excited for the Worlds and first time overseas. So looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
That's great. Thank you very much. We have two very important people among the public. So we would like also, they have a microphone here, so we would like to, all of them. We have the disc golf guy and the Danish disc golf guy. It's okay, it's dual personality. No introduction needed, but tell us who you are.
Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Miller. I was fortunate enough to volunteer as part of the first ever live broadcasts that were taking place with Disc Golf Planet back around 2008, 2009, somewhere in that neighborhood, and continued to watch that grow for a few of the years with John Dusler and Terry Roddy, who were just blazing the trail in that sense. And it was around 2010 is when I started my disc golf vlog, which was just simply yapping in front of the camera. And a couple years after that, after working and volunteering with Disc Golf Planet, we thought, myself and my friend Johnny V thought that there were some efficiencies that we could possibly implement. The technology was rapidly changing. Things like YouTube were coming along and offering live broadcasting and live streaming, which was something that was a major hindrance prior to that and was very costly. So in 2014, we started doing Smashbox TV, and then eventually became pretty much the only live streamers in disc golf in doing that. And for a couple of years had a handful of events, and then got a very special phone call from Steve Dodge in 2014, 2015 timeframe, talking about this thing he was creating, which was the Pro Tour. And I was very blessed to see some of the very initial plans of the Pro Tour. I was in the inner circle of Steve's to see exactly what he was envisioning. And he said at that point what would separate the Pro Tour from all other disc golf events would be that he would guarantee live coverage at every single tournament. So that provided Smashbox some consistency in having the 5 events the first year to eventually what would build out to be 7 or 10 or 12 and more year after year. So I personally continue to dabble in both live and working, of course, being contracted with the Disc Golf Network. Very blessed to do so. And every weekend that I'm not live, I'm then operating my own channel, the Disc Golf Guide channel, still on YouTube, and capturing post-production footage from as many places around the world as I can, and working with as many countries and incredible people. Pretty much everyone up on the panel I have worked with at some time or another. And with that, I hand it off to the guy who says he wanted to steal my name. And it was great, because the first time ever in Finland for me, I got to room with this next gentleman, and, well, then he tried to steal my identity.
Well, let me introduce you to René Mikkelsen, the Danish disc golf guy. He's very active not only in communication, he's our Denmark country coordinator, and he has also a long history on disc golf.
Yes, and my introduction could just be, I'm Terry from Teemu. Teemu happens to be the name of the Finnish disc golf guy that we roomed with. No, but I do disc golf media in Denmark, but not on the same level as Terry, but still enough that people started calling me the Danish disc golf guy, because Terry was the guy on YouTube back then when I started. And so I adopted the name in 2018, created my own YouTube channel and started to make videos, but yeah, battling with the job juggling with the job as well, and but I try to film as many tournaments as I can. I'm here to follow the Danish players, and is fortunate enough to have some support from the Danish audience to do that. So thank you.
Well, thank you all, and we can start now with the debate. I feel that the first question that arises is now we have this option of live disc golf versus post-production disc golf. You don't really need to choose. You can even, in some occasions, go live, in some occasions, go post-production. What's your feeling about the future of the broadcast of disc golf, especially compared with other sports, where we always have that option of maybe you follow a football match live or a Tour de France stage live, and then you see the post-production summary on the 9 p.m., or how do you feel that both models can coexist?
You want to start?
Sure. I think the thing I love about disc golf and disc golf post-production is I think, while a lot of other sports do provide, recaps and highlights and stuff like that, I do think that disc golf post-production is something unique to disc golf. Being able to have such comprehensive coverage in such a digestible way, I think it's been just an incredible way for people to be introduced to the sport in a really, like I said, digestible way. It allows you to consume and see and get caught up with what happened on the course, and it's honestly the whole reason I think a lot of us are here right now is because of the people going out and producing the post-production that allowed us to really closely follow the sport in a way that just wasn't available before. So I think we owe a lot to the pioneers of the post-produced model of disc golf, and I really do believe it is one of the main reasons why disc golf has gotten so popular and why it keeps growing the way it has, and truly has paved the way for other types of media to come in. And I think Terry did he described it really well with disc golf post-production happened, and then all of a sudden you see these different technologies developing so quickly and making live disc golf production so accessible and so economically feasible as well. So I think I think that I don't see post-production going anywhere. I don't think it should go anywhere. I think it's an incredibly important part of what we do here, so that we can reach as many people as possible.
Talking about post-production, Jonathan, Jomez has been I would say the reference when you create a new Spanish channel. What you try to be is a small Spanish-speaking Jomez. So we basically copycatted what you were doing and tried to put our own style. How has the post-production evolved in those years you have been so long here? Is the show basically still the same? Is showing a full round of disc golf? You are also creating a lot of extra content. How do you feel the evolution of post-production disc golf involving new technologies, those AIs, those extra features, etc.? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so it's awesome to see the way that post-production has evolved, even from the early days when Terry started, even well before I did in Central Coast, and even Jomez, whenever we started, my first video was one camera, and I wanted my next step on that was 2 cameras, and then 3, and even when we had a really solid model, we didn't even have commentary, and some others did. So it got to the point where the standard was 2 or 3 cameras with commentary, and after that, it's adding extra features, like you're saying, wind speed, follow flight, slow motion replays, things like that. Just trying to emulate other sports that we had been seeing. Like my big inspiration early on was NFL. Just how comprehensive the coverage is in a live game, or even in post-produced highlights, and just kind of getting to the point now where it used to be one team had to do lead card, one team could do chase card, and there's still room for those types of things to happen. But online, specifically like the Elite Series 4 in the United States, when we combined with the Disc Golf Network and Disc Golf Pro Tour, that allowed us to take another step in the comprehensive type coverage package that we produce every single round by being able to have access to not only the lead card cameras, but the chase card cameras or the hot round cameras that the crew covers for live. We have access to all that footage so that we can make a more comprehensive package whenever there may not be a team dedicated to chase card or third card like we had, even 5 years ago. So I think a big step that we took, and with the team that does such a great job with it, is being able to build a story not just off the 4 players on the lead card, but being able to follow other players that are playing really well. Because now the fields are getting so tight here towards the end that it's not just 4 players anymore. It could be 8 players, on the final 9 holes. So it could be any one of those players. So that's what's so nice about it, is being able to have access to that by working so closely with the tour now. And the live quality has just gotten so great. They have so many cameras on their catching, and someone's always following who's doing what in ways that we weren't able to do, like I said, even 5 years ago. So that's one of the things that I'm most excited about, is being able to produce a single package video, and like 50-minute video that covers more than just 4 players, because the talent is just continuing to get even, the fields are getting stronger, that you need to have, your resources spread out, and being able to cover more than just 4 players is so much more important now than ever before.
Okay. Kimmo, feel free to get the microphones. This is an open forum.
Yeah, I had a thought, like, I think everyone here in this table and probably in listening to this sport knows that filming disc golf is not easy. It's especially if we're doing it live. So I mean, the other sports have it a little bit easier when they can just set up cameras and be at a one place. Or if we compare it to like ball golf, then they're already kind of way past the situation where they just can't throw money at the media companies and have like 64 cameras on and covering every single angle. So we're not quite there yet, but I was thinking like the post-production crews that work all over the world are kind of the perfect foundation for this live production. Yeah. So it's easy to see how it's kind of went in the beginning, like Terry and the other post-production crews, Jomez, who started doing this kind of post-productions. It's kind of easy to like build upon that.
Yeah, I agree. And in PDGA Europe, we have a content creator support program, and we have a group of almost 100 content creators in Europe. We are buying advertisement spaces on their programs. We are sponsoring podcasts. We are paying them money to film their national championships, not only to show that content, but to have skilled people in Austria, Italy, Slovenia. So when the occasion arises, the big companies like yours can count on the specialized people on location.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be like huge productions. It can always be like if you have 3 cameras, so you're basically already set to produce at least some sort of live if you wish to do so, and you know that you're someone who wants to watch disc golf live, because there's different kinds of people. There's people who want to watch the post coverage because they don't have time to follow live broadcasts, but on the other hand, there's a lot of people who want to watch the thing live and want to cover keep themselves away from the live scoring and stuff, and
Juha, that have been a lot of times on the both sides of the pond. Is there such an American model versus European model of broadcasting, both in live and in post-production? Is there big differences on the approach? Is there something that Europeans are doing differently? How do you feel about that?
I'd say the technical sides are, like, all the thinking is pretty much the same in that way, but there is one huge difference is on the cost of the live production, since for example, in Finland, we can go to the local grocery store and buy a SIM card for 20 euros, and we can stream unlimited data with it. And in US, data costs quite a lot. Like, for example, our annual costs for data is six figures, way more than it should be. While in Europe it could be like the whole season, maybe what, 5,000 euros or something like that. So it's like there's a huge difference on the cost side of it, and also it's easier in here as our cellular networks are built way better, if I can say it in that way. But also regarding like which events should have live broadcast is also like that's one of the elements we look at when choosing the events for the tour example. That does the event venue has good cell coverage? Like most of the really good courses in the US are so in rural areas that there is no coverage, and we have seen some quite bad examples of bad coverage as well, even that our like full crew has been there with its full capacity. But if there is no network, there is no network, and there is not enough money yet in this.
I tend to go to golf tournaments. Last PGA Spain golf tournament with the coverage, the big ones with those tracks and those satellite connections. It seems like this is like the big step, but that the price difference is absolutely prohibitive if you are not a big sport, no?
Yeah,
This is the bottleneck, that internet connection.
Do you, Terry, know about the satellite connection? Wasn't that something that USDGC did? Yeah.
Yeah, in some of the earliest days, it was a matter of John Dusler, Terry Roddy, contracting with a satellite provider. We had a couple of different options, actually. I remember one was in Kansas City for the KC Wide Open, and then also at the USDGC. And it literally was like a truck bed size trailer that we needed to position a satellite on site and then have it point in a very specific direction to try to get us to connect, to give us cellular signal that's probably a fraction of what we're still getting even today. So, and it was in the neighborhood of $20,000 or $25,000 for a weekend to be able to use it. And so that's where seeing things like live view units and other streaming services that eventually built up became so much more practical, whether they were on a rented basis or they were on a annual contract, whatever the case was. But I'll just add on to that. Another component of it was the platforms that we were using were charging us per viewer, so to speak, that we're watching. So if we had 0 to 500 people watching, we paid one price, and 500 to 1,500, we had to pay an additional price. So the more people that were watching, the more it actually cost the broadcast to do, as opposed to when YouTube came along and said, you can stream here for free, and it won't cost you anything. So it was literally saving tens of thousands of dollars every single weekend. And those were some of the things that we were investing into at Smashbox, is switching platforms and being able to utilize some of that technology that was to our advantage as opposed to being cost prohibitive. So it's been a long, long journey, and just waiting for some cellular network or solution to become a magic solution or that silver bullet. I don't know if we're going to see it anytime soon. So we got to keep doing what we can.
Terry and René, you're a part of the live and the post-production world, but also you make vlogs or that kind of social media content. How do you feel, how important is it to combine the full round coverage with extra content in other formats, like those Instagram Reels, those YouTube Shorts, those podcasts, also audio podcasts? How do you feel is the sweet spot of combining the different types of disc golf media coverage?
Yeah, I think as we've seen everyone here that is involved with this and other media that continues to surge, there are countless ways to insert yourself and or you and your friends or your company, and then develop whatever format seems best for you. And we've seen everything from the reviews of products all the way to post-production and shot-by-shot to shorter form versions and recaps. I think they're all crucial. It's not an either or in terms of what we're looking at for the technology. We're all investing in different ways of just getting there, and editing continues to evolve, AI continues to evolve, Attention spans continue to evolve in one capacity or another. So I think it's a matter of coming up with all the different varieties and then not necessarily foregoing just your traditional media of having some articles, having people actually write. Some people still like to read, believe it or not. And I think having those along with both long and short form podcasts, I think everything that's happening, it just needs to happen. It's just a matter of finding your space, finding what you're comfortable in, and then going all in on that. So I'm all about it.
René, we have talked various times about trying to monetize the content. You are working hard, you're producing content. This is not the biggest of the sports, so sometimes it's not hard it's hard to monetize this content. How can you make it sustainable? Because if passion can fuel for some time, but it cannot be indefinite. How can you?
I think you're asking the wrong guy. I'm a YouTuber in one of the, even though our growth was pretty big in disc golf in recent years in Denmark, we are still a very tiny country. And for a YouTuber that until recently did most of my content in Danish, I'm talking to a Danish audience. I have 2,600 subscribers on YouTube. I film primarily national tour events. I get maybe 1,200 views. I get maybe, after 2 months, I have maybe 150 Danish kroners in ad revenue on those videos, which is nothing. I get maybe just short of 100 Danish kroners is, divide that by 7.5 to get euros. I have a small Patreon crew, some people that are donating some money to me, and I get maybe 100 euros a month there. So I feel like I'm the wrong guy to ask.
Jonathan, sorry, I'm going to the computer so you can hear me. Jonathan, talking about monetizing, I think that Jomez is a good example of if you have a small YouTube channel, don't rely only on the YouTube advertisement payments. Go expand your activities, go merchandising, go Patreon, go exclusive events for subscribers. How do you feel about this model? What tips would you give to those small to medium content creators that want to make it sustainable economically?
Yeah, it's very important. Everyone's got to start somewhere, and the important thing is just to get out there and just try to keep in tune with your audience, even if you just have a small audience, and that's really what got Jomez started. Is just one, we used to just do one tournament a year and then 2 tournaments a year and slowly ramp it up. The important thing was, like I said, is to stay in tune with your audience and let them know that that they're your community and you're doing this, putting all this hard work in for them, and then they reciprocate that by supporting you, whether even it's just viewership or subscribing or sharing your videos. And eventually you get to a point you have a Patreon and they donate directly to you. Even just making some merchandise that people might want to buy from you. That's really the important thing, I think, is just making sure that you know your audience and that they feel like they can connect with you. And that's really how we started. It was so small that we had no real intention to do anything big with it, but we kept our relationship going and just continued to get a larger audience, and those people wanted to continue supporting us because they felt like they had a hand in it, like they were a part of the team or sort of an investor. And all they really asked for in return was the content that you were making. That's really all it was, and it still continues to be that to this day. And so, that's my advice: is just be in tune and continue creating the content that people want to watch, and the rest of it kind of just falls in line. You might not think it's much. Maybe it's just $100, in a month, or maybe a little bit more. But over time, you don't even realize you wake up one day and a year later, and it's more than that. That's my advice: is really don't get in a hurry, because you might get really frustrated. But if you can kind of keep it manageable and keep your costs down, to just continue doing it, maybe it's just like a side hustle or something, and eventually you might be able to have that opportunity to generate enough income to make it more than that.
Lauri.
Yeah, I'm not an expert either in monetizing, but I kind of want to bring a perspective to the post-production versus live. I think our challenge is now when we have done more live, I think this is already known for them who does the live, but like the post-production, it's easy to approach. You know, it's like 30 minutes, you put it on, etc., and it's easy to watch. But the live broadcasts, they take like three hours. If you want to watch the FPO and the MPO, you need to book like 6 hours of your time. And what we have noticed in Frisbeegolfmedia and the written articles and getting the attraction from the bigger audience and the public, what we have done is kind of create these narratives for the media so that for them it's easy to kind of grasp that, okay, for example, when we're sending them something, we kind of want there to be one thing that they focus on. For example, giving like a, hey, you should write about this subject. I think our challenge next is to get the wider audience also to the live experience and give the people a reason why they should watch it, giving some background, some narratives. And I think, for example, the disc golf world is doing a great job that they give reasons why people should watch it, giving some narratives. And I would like to see that in the future more in the live broadcast, not just reacting to the throws, but getting some background, doing some statistics, creating some more context around the players, for example, giving some background of their childhood, whatever. Like that, I think that's something that we need to do to get the live production more interesting.
Lauri, making use of your perspective, Frisbeegolfmedia has worked with PDGA Europe as the official news agency. That connection with the bigger audiences via the mass media and the written articles, it's something that I would say is a bit brand new on disc golf, trying to reach that next step. How do you approach that approaching of national newspapers or national televisions in Finland? How do you approach that, bringing that disc golf content to bigger audience, and how can it help on monetizing disc golf as a whole and bringing bigger figures into the sport?
I think the main part is to make it simple and easy to understand. For example, there's the booklets from what we have done to the competition. We try to, for example, like people don't like it when we have like mixed pro open and you say that the men's are competing there, but it's hard to understand that the mixed pro open is for men. Like we need to think about the wider audience and use the different kind of wordings and like explain that, okay, this play in groups of 4 people, like they don't know, like the wider audience doesn't know. So I think our job is to kind of pack the information in a easy to understand form and give the like easy to grasp narratives. Like for example, a long drive, it's the most easiest to understand that Rasmus Saukkorepi was the one who threw the frisbee the furthest. Like everybody understands that, and everybody understands what's at stake at the World Championships. You're going to be the world champion. So we need this kind of easy to understand narratives. Like for example, we created a new word for major in Finnish because like nobody knows what's the worth of major in the Finland's audience. So that I think that's something that needs to be done.
Kimmo.
That's a great point. I mean, thank you for making it, because it's really easy for us who've been involved in disc golf for a longer time to kind of fall into this lull that everyone knows what we're talking about, right? Everyone knows like when they try to tell what frisbee golf or disc golf is to a friend, and they're like, I don't get the game. It's like that's what we're supposed to tell the people in live, in post, in every single media, that okay, this is the game. Game is the most important thing, and people love games.
Yeah. Get out of the hardcore fans that we already know. Yeah. Kimmo, Disc Golf Academy is another example of another perspective of disc golf communication. It's an online disc golf academy. You already had experience of an online musical academy. can you tell us a bit about those different models of communication? In these cases, to improve your form, there's a paid service, and how do you
Yeah.
explain?
We found the need for a disc golf, like concentrated disc golf academy content, like past COVID. I mean, we saw there was a huge growth of disc golfers, and like during pandemic, and we thought that it would make perfect sense to tell people what disc golf is right now. So, in essence, the subscriber-based service of Pulsea Disc Golf Academy is to be like one-stop shop for disc golfers. So we gather all the information in a bite-sized content that everyone can kind of consume, and we strip away all the YouTube nonsense that the YouTubers need to have. I mean, we have nothing against YouTube, and we also produce YouTube content, but the fact is that if you try to learn a sport effectively, then it's kind of difficult when you have like thousands and thousands of hours content in YouTube and you don't really know who to kind of believe in. So we try to use the best disc golfers and offer them a platform to produce the best content or give their knowledge to the wider audience and show them how this sport can be learned in a safe way and sustainable way, while providing the coverage like globally, and showing people that this is a viable way of learning disc golf. Yeah. We are in our infancy. I have to say that like we're still building the whole thing, but as we were talking, as Jonathan was talking about building the YouTube content from scratch and giving it time to kind of grow. That's exactly what we are also doing. We're not expecting that the academy is going to be like huge in 1 year. But we're seeing a good growth, and we see a good receivance from the public. So we are happy, and we are happy to continue doing it. Thank you.
Sam and Juha, Disc Golf Network is like maybe the tip of the iceberg of that monetization structure of disc golf with a paywall protected service of live disc golf. How do you feel about the evolution? Of course, it involves a lot of expenses. Filming disc golf, especially when you are on both sides of the ocean. The logistics are very good. I'm not sure if people understand how much does it take to produce great content as what we are doing here in Worlds, and that it's worth the money and it has value. And how do you approach this way to get new subscribers?
Yeah, that's a good question. Pretty wide. Yeah, it takes a lot of resources to make it actually good live disc golf production. Like I said, there needs to be storylines. The storyline can change if you have let's say only 3 cameras that are following the lead card. Good example was the last PDGA major, EDGF in Estonia, and on the FPO side we had the lead card playing, and they didn't do that well. And actually there was 3 to 4 players in 3 to 4 different groups playing better than them. So how do we cover them? Do we still do the lead card only, while others are actually the better storyline, which is more interesting for the fans? Of course, everybody has their favorite player and they want to follow only them. But that's the biggest problem on doing the live broadcast, since we will need to be ready to cover everything. They're on Crockhole Open, on MPO final round, it was holes, like lead card was playing hole 6 at the time, and I was I was producing the show, so I was following 15 different players who could win the event at that time. And it was pretty difficult with only 1 camera that could move around. So I couldn't send him to 7 different cards at the same time. So it was pretty wild situation. And from that we kind of go to the situation of how, like, what's the level of production what we want to do on the events. Like is as an event owner, or media rights owner, like, do you want to do a bad show from an event? Like, imagine the World Championships were only following lead card, and there is the world champion comes from the chase card. Like they have already won, but the lead card is still, they have a couple of holes to play, and like was it MVP Open where Matteo won from, like, lead card was still playing and nobody cared about the lead card anymore at the time. So it's
happens.
That's also one question related to like, should, like, as an event owner, like if you have a, let's say not a world championships but a big event, like do you rather do high quality post production or kind of lower level live broadcast? Like, because also if the live broadcast is not good, nobody wants to spend that 6 hours to watch like non-interesting content. So that's also a question that media rights owners and event owners need to think about.
I'm not sure if you are you have this information, but to pay this broadcast, how important is the base of subscribers, and how important is the advertisers? We're starting to see advertisers from outside of the disc golf world. We see Barbasol, we see Rami Rent here in Europe. It seems like attracting those outside of the disc golf world sponsors could be an important thing to sustain the model. Is the subscriber base enough to sustain a service like Disc Golf Network?
I don't know if I'm the best authority to talk about all that kind of thing. I do know, just from what I can see, is that I think the next step is identifying the non-endemic groups that we would like to, bring into the disc golf world, whether it's, different brands from, outdoor style companies or something like that. I think we have seen just about everyone in the disc golf community buy into post-production and live, and we're all, working together to, build up each other's brands, and at some point we kind of reach a point where, we do need to really start looking outside of the sport itself and identifying other partners that could be valuable to add to the sport and who see value in us too. And so I think showing other large brands and other large companies outside of the sport that this is something worth, putting money towards and worth their attention is really, really important to the growth of disc golf right now.
Yeah, and like essentially, it's only the question of like how much produce we can move from the advertisers' warehouse by asking them to be a part of these productions.
Yeah, we're like kind of in a prove it stage right now. There are some non-endemic partners that are coming out and taking a chance on us right now. It's kind of what it feels like a little bit. And we are in a position where we need to prove that their investment is something worth investing in. We need to prove that this is a sport that can keep on growing and keep growing its audience and keep growing its reach and showing that this can be, we can break out of the niche sport, and turn into something more widely accepted and more universally accepted by sports fans all over the world.
I have a question for the DGPT and crew that I've been wondering about this. When the tournament organizers and the interaction with the media, so how do you cover the fact that the tournament organizers are the ones who are kind of putting up the tournament and making the event go, like getting all the volunteers and making the course beautiful and so on and so forth. So what's the kind of the plan for making sure that they will have also kind of their share from the media in returns?
I think I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe Juha?
Yeah, it's if I understood correctly. If we have talk about Pro Tour events, the DGPT events, we have the agreement with the event organizer and what is like agreed on there. The event gets their fair share of the media, like the coverage itself, meaning ads, like they can
or
give
like monetary
partners.
compensation for like be able to like
there is
sustainable growth.
On the agreements they are like done event by event. There are different tiers on the agreements as well, and good events they are happy, and we see them those same events from year to year again. And there is it's a like pretty wide agreement. It includes a lot of responsibilities, like both ways, who does what, who is responsible for like which stuff to do. Like DGPT covers the media solely, so then the LOC, local organizing committee, they don't need to worry about is their media presence there. Like that's a good example. Then like the ticket sales is one thing as well, which is also compensated together on the agreement. And like I said, good events, they are really happy about it, and we see them year by year again and again.
Could there be like some sort of way to kind of for smaller events, smaller production crews kind of interact in that way? Do you have like a good idea? I mean, shortly maybe, but it's like, do you have some sort of advice on how to build upon that?
Like for the media,
for the local LOCs to get like more out of the media presence.
From DGPT events, like,
no,
or
it's
any,
like
any
in
events.
general.
In general, I will say the best, like if you have an event, you want media there, don't try to do it yourself. First contact look who is doing media in your area. If it's in US, there's a lot of small channels who do media. They're starters, like, well, Terry is not a starter, but he's doing still solo cam shows alone, and time to time you find some goofball. For example, in Florida, you find a Finnish guy who will film your catch cam for you. So like find your local channel, ask like, hey, would you come? Most of them will come if you buy them a pizza. Most of them will travel to another country if you get them a room with Terry Miller and buy them a pizza.
Or you pay the expenses like PDGA Europe. Help them on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us, I think people I'm sharing this table with and people in the audience here, a lot of the ways that tournaments can get more recognition and a lot of ways that channels can build are just by people who are fans of the sport, and they look at what's happening in their community and they look at themselves and they're like, you know what, I can help. You know, I have something that I can offer to this. And I think there's very much that, there's that sentiment a lot right now. It's very, very present still in the sport, even at the highest level of, you know, video production. There's still people who are here because they saw something that they loved and they said, I want to make this better, and I think I can help. And so I think when you are trying to get an event off the ground and you are trying to get more recognition or more coverage of whatever you're doing, those are the types of people you need to look for. The people who are really driven and you know are taking it upon themselves to grow the sport. And I think it's a really beautiful thing about, you know, disc golf and why a lot of us are here right now is because we raised our hand and said, I think I can do it.
Guys, it's been an exciting conversation. I'm happy. I think we are even running short of time. I feel it's a good initiative that maybe we could repeat in other World Championships or big events. I really want to thank you, Sam, Juha, Lauri, Kimmo, Jonathan, René, Terry, and all the assistants here in the public. And we will broadcast this video on next week's on PDGA YouTube channel to let everyone approach the disc golf media world and the broadcasting and everything that involves from different points of view, not only live production, post-production, podcast, general public, online academies, etc. And thank you very much. Enjoy your stay here in the World Championships and see you in the next PDGA Talks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.